Hey, this is my first YouTube video. I'm going to be breaking down the matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, I'm a Vikings fan. Wild card weekend. Pretty excited about it. It's the first time the Vikings have been in the playoffs since 2009 when we had Brett Favre, and it's a little bit hard to like Brett Favre, at least for me. I mean, I'm glad what he did for our team, but he's a Packer, so... The Packers are a really good team. Just because we beat them in Week 17 doesn't mean we're going to beat them this week. Aaron Rodgers, he's a beast. I wish he was a Viking, you know. But we do have Adrian Peterson. He's good. Got a couple guys on defense who are good. And our rookies are really contributing this year, which is really the main reason we're doing so well. I got a couple things that the Vikings have to do if they're going to beat the Packers in Lambeau. I got 7 things. Got a list right here. First, Ponder has to continue to perform. He had a great game. He had a great game in Week 17, 120 passer rating. Since Week 4, sorry, not since Week 4. In the last 4 weeks, his QB rating has only been second to Peyton Manning. So he's played really well in win-or-go-home games. You know, he's had an awful season, but in these last 4 games, he's pretty clutch. So he needs to perform if we're going to have a chance. Because we saw what happened when we were in Lambeau in Week 13. He sucked, and the Packers won. We can't have that happen. Number 2 is our defensive line and our secondary really needs to hit Rodgers and the receivers hard. Our defensive line did a great job in the Metrodome. I'm not sure how Rodgers did it, but he seemed to shake it off. It didn't even bother him, but that doesn't mean we need to abandon that. Keep the pressure on Rodgers and keep the pressure on the receivers. We were missing some tackles. That might have been because we were going after big hits, but I still think we need to do that. If you can rattle the receivers enough, we can cause them to drop some balls, especially in the cold weather. I think last year, when the Packers went 15-1, the Giants got pressure on Rodgers, they got pressure on the receivers, and they won. The Chiefs got pressure on Rodgers, got pressure on the receivers, they won. And the Seahawks did it. Bad call at the end, but until that point, they were definitely getting pressure on Rodgers and physical DBs. Yeah, it was a bad call. I'm a Vikings fan, and I'll admit it. So rattle those guys. Number 3 is no turnovers. The Vikings haven't lost a single game this year where they've been even or better in the turnover differential. So we're 10-0 when we don't turn the ball over more than the opposing team. So don't turn the ball over. We didn't have a single turnover in Week 17, and we forced 1. 1 turnover was enough to, you know, that's 3 points at least, I think. I think that led to 3 points, or 7 or something. So, yeah, don't turn the ball over and try and cause turnovers, but that's sort of, anyways. Number 4 is the play-action pass. I really like the way our offensive coordinator has been working this in. In the beginning of the season, Ponder, for some reason, can't get a play-action pass off with Adrian Peterson in the backfield. That's a little bit ridiculous. In these past couple weeks, he's really been able to work off of it. The huge Jarius Wright reception was off of play-action. A lot of our touchdowns to Kyle Rudolph are off of play-action, so keep that going. Number 5 is our defense needs to be able to handle the no-huddle. The Packers are trying to do some no-huddle there, and the refs were being a little bit stupid. But, you know, defense needs to be ready. We need our leaders, Greenway, Antoine Winfield needs to be there, you know, stopping them. Be ready for it. Number 6 is we need to shut out the crowd noise. It's a home game. Packers earned it. They're in the playoffs. They got a good record, and they're at home. Counter the crowd noise. Shut them out. Don't let them mess with our offense. Ponder needs to be loud, you know, shouting out orders. Our center, John Sullivan, needs to make sure the linemen know what to do. And take care of the timeouts, yeah. because Green Bay had a serious problem with timeouts against us in Week 17, and that might have been a difference in the outcome of that game. So timeouts really are important. They can affect challenges too. And the last one is limit the special teams returns, because that Ross kid, even though they didn't have Randall Cobb, Ross, I've never even heard of him until this game, and he returned a couple of them for like 40 yards or something. I mean, we've been good all season with special teams returns, kickoffs and punts, and we just fell flat, and that gave them some really good field position. So those are my 7 keys for the Vikings, and I'll actually give you some for the Packers too. 7 things the Packers need to do if they want to win. I don't want that to happen, obviously, but number 1 for the Packers, the DBs need to tackle. They weren't tackling Peterson. They weren't getting into it, you know. Peterson's hard to stop, but they need to tackle him if they want to win. Number 2 is don't let the Vikings start early. We've been good when we start early because our team is built that way. We carry the ball, hold on to the ball, have good time of possession, and good defense. Number 3 that the Packers need to do is they need to spread out the defense, go 4 wide. Marcus Sherrills was awful. If Antoine Winfield starts for us, it won't be as big of a thing, but as you might have seen in Week 17, Rodgers was just picking apart whoever Sherrills was supposed to be covering. He's really a return man, not a good corner. Number 4 is they need to take advantage of Ponder if he makes mistakes. There were a couple times in the Green Bay game where that one Jarius Wright catch that really wasn't a catch, they need to try and capitalize and make that an interception. It was floated in the air for too long. Casey Hayward had an interception fall through his hands. The final touchdown that the Vikings threw could have been an interception if M.D. Jennings comes up and gets it. So take advantage of Ponder. He's still young, you know. He's a second-year guy and he makes mistakes. If they want to win, they're going to have to be disciplined and don't commit as many penalties. We saw Tramon Williams hands to the face on Jerome Simpson, and that really gave the Vikings their last touchdown. They would have had to go kick a field goal if that hadn't happened. Number 6 is utilize the run game. It's a cold weather environment. Running game is going to really help out both teams, and Dwan Harris is going to do well. Because he did well against us in Week 17 last week. And we've had trouble against short running backs. Doug Martin had 200 total yards against our defense. LaRod Stevens-Howling had his first 100-yard game against us. So we're not great against short little running backs. Darren Sproles would have a great game against us if he ever played us. Number 7 is you're going to need to stop the defensive ends. They're pretty much teeing off on Rodgers, especially whoever's on Barclay. He really didn't have a great game. So put a tight end in there to chip him, running back to be in pass protection every once in a while. Because, like I said, you still need to spread out the defense. But every once in a while, don't let them get it, make them work for it. As for a prediction, I'm going to have to go with the Vikings, just because I think they're hot. We've had some good games against tough opponents, like the Packers, the Texans, the Bears are not as great, but they're still a good, good competition. And the St. Louis Rams at home, where they're a different team at home. So I'm going to predict the Vikings 24-23. It's not going to be as high scoring of a game because it's out in the cold weather. Anyways, that's my prediction. I'll see you guys after the game, hopefully. Go Vikes.